Hello there, world. Stop looking at me like that. Don't do that. Oh my gosh. I don't like this lipstick. Why am I so weird? I don't like this lipstick. Why am I? Now that you can't hear me anymore on the live stream. Nathan! What do I want to see from the Mandalorian? Oops. I can't hear you. Say something.
Hello?
There we go. Okay, hang on. Let me see.
Got it.
Let me see if I can switch to my headphones now.
Okay.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, I had it on the wrong page.
Oh, right on. I was wondering. I'm like, man, I'm calling. I'm trying to join. Are we live?
We are live right now, by the way.
Oh, shit. Hi.
I haven't sent the tweet out yet, though.
Okay.
I was about to do that when you texted me. I was like, oh, shit.
So, Ascendancy, phenomenal, right?
Dude.
Mm-hmm.
That last half of it, I was like, oh.
Same thing. Couldn't turn it off the last half. Couldn't put it down.
I was mad when I had to turn it off.
Love these glorious blue pages.
Yes. I got mine in front of me. I don't have anything marked, but I just wanted to talk about it. So
yeah, I just got it because since you finished, just figure a reference point for people watching.
To trailer and then some.
You got this one yet?
I got the advanced reader copy of that, and I haven't read it yet.
I haven't read it yet. I got it. Like I said, I've been on other things. I just, total nerd. I just finished an Avengers novel, and I've been reading a bunch of comic stuff. So I haven't gotten to it yet, but I do plan on getting to it.
I just downloaded Dune, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to try Alphabet Squadron again and see if I can read it.
Dune is
and we'll
another
see
one
how it goes.
that I want to go to, but I'm going through another universe that I've only seen in movies, but I'm finally going through the books and I'm really liking. But I can't say it right now because I might get persecuted. There's been book burnings going on for this person and whatnot, so I like my pink cup here.
Right. You like mine?
Women drink pink, right? Nice. I see that. Whenever you are ready, I am ready.
The link.
Sure. Let's see if we get any of our friends that want to jump in.
Oops, that's not helpful. Okay.
Better make sure you DM the fellas. Hi guys, come join us.
I copied the link and then I copied a different link. And so then it all got screwed up. So
Katie, did I show you my Razor crest?
Ooh,
I found
yeah.
a little Razor crest. Yeah. Right here on my desk because I'm running out of window ledge space for my Star Wars figures or little ships. So now my desk is slowly filling up. I've got the small Sith Interceptor on the desk, and I got Darth Maul himself on his cool little weird cycle from Phantom Menace.
Yeah,
It's a little cool. I like the detail they put on. You can't really see it, but all the way down to the markings on his little face are even perfect.
Yes. Okay. I did all my personal. Now I need to go back to Star Wars Alliance and treat. Okay. So, and the topics for today are Mandalorian Season 2 trailer.
And that's it. All right. See you later, guys. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, basically.
And Thrawn and the rest. Yes, because now that I can talk about it openly, now I want to discuss Thrawn with you. Since I don't have to worry about my big mouth spoiling something, because I still feel bad that I spoiled General Yiv, but we'll get there.
I think I'd heard the name at that point. I just hadn't actually met him.
Yeah, I'm curious on your overall. Like I said, whenever you're ready to talk about it, I'm ready because I want to get your overall thoughts on it, and I've got some more to say on it too. So, and then just anything else Star Wars you want to talk about? Because there ain't.
Yes, we had one comment on Chaos Rising, but that was about it.
Ooh, okay.
So.
Then I'm sure we'll just divulge into madness, and if anybody jumps in the old chat room here, we can chit it and chat it.
Yep.
So we're live though, so I'm just talking.
We are live. Hi guys, if you're watching. Did my pencil just die? Oh, there we go. Got my handy dandy Apple pencil because I'm an Apple nerd. Okay, so you want to get the podcast mumbo jumbo out of the way?
Let's do it.
Okay. And let's record first. That's important.
Now you're thinking.
Now we're recording. So now it is official. And thankfully none of this.
I gotta get these.
Oh, that is so cool.
My wife got me those and I forgot about them, to be honest with you. I gotta get them up. I gotta get them up there because they are pretty cool. I need some frames or some posters or something. They're pretty cool.
Yes.
I
miss my wall because I've got an original Star Wars episode 4.
Mm-hmm.
I've got an original Star Wars episode 4 movie theater poster that my granddad found at a flea market. So I have that. They could go in the background. And then I've got a Star Wars lunchbox.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the original releases from the movie.
See, look, I got my what is it, my little battle droid. Wait, can you see it? My little battle droid.
Yes.
Ah, shit. Oh, I knocked it. Man down. Let's not do that again.
That's going to be the intro for this week.
Okay.
Man down.
Okay. All right. Now that was just plain silly, but all right, here we go.
And now, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Star Wars Alliance podcast, your home on the Geek Ultimate Alliance podcast network for all things Star Wars. I am one of your hosts, Katie Gelstrap, with my fancy arm movements that you can't see if you're listening to this on a podcast. And with me today is Nathan Odinson. Nathan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I'm ready to talk a little Mando.
Yes. We've got Mando. We've also got Alden said some things about his time on Solo that I was interested in. So I wanted to talk about that too. I forgot about that. Okay. But from there, then we have the one and only Chaos Rising. So
excellent. We can finally talk freely about it. The implications, where it falls in the timeline, everything.
Yes. I'm sorry that I did not read where I was supposed to last episode.
That's okay. It happens.
Come on. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to start my stopwatch for ads. So
Travis will be proud.
I know. Travis, be proud of me. Please. Okay, there we go. So Nathan, why don't you give us the podcast spiel since you are so good at it?
Sure. As Katie said, with Star Wars Alliance, we are part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance network with a plethora of shows. Mondays, you get World's Finest True Believers. Tuesdays is a DC Alliance. Wednesday is Marvel Alliance. Thursday is Katie's Day with either this show, Star Wars Alliance, or on the off week, it will be Slice of Film. Friday, we have superhero discussions. Also, Friday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern, I think it is, live on YouTube. You can find the Super Civil Servants podcast. That audio also drops Saturday morning, along with over the weekend Weird Comics, Weird Science Comics, Marvel, and DC. With the latest up-to-date comics. But that's basically the spiel. There's also a Patreon account where $1 just kind of says thank you, helps us keep the candles flickering, as 57 likes to say. But and then you got
is that because his last name's Hines?
Yes. And then there's a $5 tier that gets you early access to episodes, ad-free episodes, and exclusive content in episodes. And that's it. That's the quick, short, decisive. Here we are.
Yes. We do have ads in this podcast as well. We do try and give you a lead in. Right. This episode, it will be after the Mandalorian season 2 trailer discussion, probably. And then we'll probably try and fit one more in during the Chaos Rising discussion. So,
whenever we feel like it. So just be ready for it.
we try and give you a lead in because we do not get to choose who the ads are from and how loud the ads are. So just kind of keep that in mind. Do whatever you like with them. We appreciate all the listens we get to them. So, and then finally, if you don't mind, on your favorite podcatcher giving us a review, it helps put us in the feed, in other people's feeds. We take all constructive criticism. So let us know how we can improve or what you like about the show. And we'll give a read and get going. So, yes.
Sounds good.
That's about it. This isn't the Slice of Film one where I have to disclaim on spoilers. So
maybe if you're trying to stay away from anything Mandalorian before you actually see the first episode, I mean, perhaps we could call a spoiler for the trailer that we saw and what our theories and takeaways are going to be. Perhaps
you could also say Chaos Rising, but most people who listen to this are just into the movies and TV shows.
Sure.
We will try to give you all the information from Chaos Rising that we can. So
right.
But on that note, let's look at the Alden Ehrenreich. So he did an interview with Games.
I know nothing of this, so tell me all about it.
He did an interview with the Games Radar, the Total Film team, where he looked back on the Star Wars experience. Oh my gosh, doggies, would you please shut up? Sorry, my sister just walked in the room. So he obviously hasn't been on the big screen recently. So really, I think Solo was his last big film.
That's what I was getting ready to ask. Is that the last thing that he was in recently on big screen anyway?
Yeah, I think so. I haven't seen him in anything else, but what he said was movie time is so funny. he is in a new series called Brave New World. But he said Solo was a 3-year experience, all said and done. I've been away from home pretty much for about 3 years, and not only on a personal side, but also as an artist, an actor and artist. The well is dry. There was one quote in here. So he said Solo was a learning experience about the internet media version of things. For instance, Solo, it didn't do as well as other Star Wars movies, but it did well for a movie. So it was this medium thing, but that's not newsworthy.
The sky was falling.
Yeah, it was like, even at a high level of journalism, there's an intense pressure sometimes, it feels like, to catastrophize or celebrate. And he said it's really fucking dangerous, especially when it pertains to the stuff that really matters, like the state of the world. So he talks about like journalism bias and how things can be sensationalized.
Clickbait and whatnot, and controlling the narrative, things that every news site everywhere in the world does.
Yep. That was really the highlights of it, but he said he had a really good experience, and I believe he said that he was looking forward to potentially returning to the character.
That's what I was going to ask, because that first quote that you gave almost made it seem like he was like kind of done with it, but that's what I was going to ask, if he said something about returning, because I heard on another show of people talking that like a great idea for like a Solo 2, like let's do, like, we're into miniseries, right? Like Disney Plus, they're all about miniseries. They're about to bring Kenobi in as the miniseries. Like they're gonna, these little one-offs with potential stuff. Like that's fine. Like let's do like Solo, and like almost like do me like a 4 or 5 episodes, just like Solo, but it's kind of like Cannonball Run or something. You know what I mean? Or just kind of like him, just kind of going through like I think, I don't know, like why couldn't you get like a Han and Lando and Chewie, just like the 3 of them chopping it up and going through space, you know what I mean? Like going on some kind of little mission, doing something, or just a little continuation, like maybe a job for Jabba, or it doesn't even have to be Jabba. Maybe they work for a completely other person, you know what I mean? Like I don't know, like I don't know when it takes, but like show me how Lando learned some of those moves that he, they must have heard about my moves at the Battle of Tanab. You know what I mean? Like, show me how I got these moves. Like I would love to see Glover and Alden, like, just one more time, and the guy that plays Chewie, just because I think they, in Solo, it may not be like my upper echelon of Star Wars movies, but it's still a great Star Wars movie, and everybody in it totally fit the world. Like they did a great job. So I would definitely, in a heartbeat, take more with those two. And I personally, I would like it to be a package deal. I want all 3 of them in a show. Like, give me those 3, like 3 co-headliners, whatever. Even make Jonas with Chewie, like as a forward. Like, let's get those 3 on some kind of some mission. I'd love it.
Yeah, and I think that role, the role Amelia has in the movie, like, number one, the character's got so much potential. Ray Carson wrote the prequel book for that, Most Wanted, which goes into Kira's story a lot more. It's a fantastic book. One of the best Star Wars books.
Bring her back too. Yeah, she's great. Yeah, I forgot about her. Bring her back too.
And I think Solo was really her best movie role. So I think she gives a lot to it. I think
outside of Game of Thrones, I think you're absolutely
I think it's her best movie role.
Agree with you. Yeah, that's what I meant. Like outside of Game of yes, I totally agree with you, because she had some other ones that are not her fault, but just wasn't the best direction. I agree with you. Let's put it that way. I agree.
Yeah, like I liked her in Last Christmas, which was like the romance she did with Henry Golding. It was okay. Like it's not one of my favorites. Like it was very predictable, but I thought she did well with it. But I think Amelia is definitely one that will do well in a franchise-based role. She did really well in Game of Thrones. And
it works good in fantasy. Like I say this in like with all due respect, because I want to, but like nerds and geeks, like she fits in great. We love her. Like you know what I mean? Because like Terminator, that one that they tried to do with her, kind of flopped and floundered. People weren't saying very flattering things. Game of Thrones, there was times between her and Kit Harington where they put the show shoulder to shoulder, and they carried it, both of them. And then I agree with you. I think she did great in Solo, and like, especially like that little fighting scene and stuff. Like I don't know. I think she fits the world. I think she fits in perfectly. You're right. Let's bring her back too. Let's get those 4 in there and have a show with them somehow.
Yeah, and I haven't seen the Terminator movies she played in.
Neither have I. I've only heard, and that's just
Yeah,
hearsay. So
I've heard too,
right.
but I would tend to disagree with people where I think she does well with a character that doesn't have a lot of background, and I think she does best in that role. So I think she'd do really well in it. The franchise fits her well. Alden, while I was iffy on his casting as Han originally,
Me too.
I thought he did really well for what he had. Yeah.
I think he whatever it was by the beginning, I think by definitely by the end of it, like I felt like that was Han, like the mannerisms and the going, you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
he definitely he pulled it off. He had like, of course it's not gonna be the same voice and stuff, but I mean, even down to some of the looks he was given, like he would like by the end of it, he definitely felt like Han Solo to me. And like with Emilia Clarke, like I think you're totally right. Cause like I'm just thinking like where she's doing Terrace Kasi and like the way that like she definitely helps flesh out Solo's back. Now I have my problem with how he gets his quote last name. Like it's kind of silly to over joke me, whatever. That's fine, but she definitely helps like flesh it out, and you kind of see the only other part I didn't really like is it kind of tried to make Solo like this guy that cared before we get to the Solo that doesn't care. I don't know. Either way, all that I'll take it in a heartbeat. If you're going to give me a miniseries or 2 episodes or 3 or whatever, let's go. Bring him back. I think he deserves better than I think the cast deserves better than what they got.
Yeah, especially with how much the behind the scenes stuff and what was reshot and change of director.
If they would have pushed that movie back 3 more months and gave Ron Howard 3 more months, that movie out of the park, it would have knocked it. I guarantee it would have knocked it out of the park.
They should have delayed it to December like they did Rogue One, because Rogue One was originally a May release, and they delayed it to and December.
That movie is fabulous. That is, in my opinion, the best Disney offering that Disney has in the movie. And, the movies they've done. Mm-hmm. I think that's their best foray into it.
If I want to watch a Star Wars movie and I don't really want to deal with like a whole lot of context or like the full storyline that the Skywalker saga gives, Solo is my pick any day.
I would go Rogue. Actually, I can throw any of them on, but I get what you're saying. Solo's great. Yeah, that's for Solo and Rogue One. Those are perfect for that, where it's just you're in the universe. You don't have it's not too much of this, that, and you can just go and just live in the universe with it.
Yeah, it was so disappointing when Disney decided not to go further down the anthology path, because I thought that was a really good move on their part to have that to where you could just have one Star Wars movie and not have sequels or prequels involved. That's kind of what I mean with that. It's just kind of one and done. So
I think we're going to get more of that, only it's going to be reverted. Instead of big screen, it'll be on Disney Plus. Eventually there's going to be made for Disney Plus movies. Now, I don't know if we start with Star Wars Disney Plus, made for Disney Plus. Now they're probably going to be like some Disney made movies first, and then it might go into like Marvel or but like eventually we're going to get to that point. And even if we're not there right now, you can still do the one-off stories. And like I said, a miniseries, it doesn't even have to be, you can do 4 hours. You know what I mean? You could do 3 hours. If the story calls for only just 3 episodes and that's it, but it's easier to get 3 hours on Disney Plus than it is 3 hours in the movie theater. Let's do that. You know what I mean? Like that's totally fine with me.
And I mean, that's what the Snyder Cut's doing. So it makes perfect sense. So that's your precedence right there. Like you just have a big movie that you just want to cut up into little bite-sized pieces. Sure. I mean, people tried to, it's not ideal, but people tried to do that with like Martin Scorsese's Irishman. I totally screwed up his last name, but like people went in and specifically said, okay, if you want to turn this into a 6-episode TV show, here's where you pause.
Right.
And like went in and split it out, because some people can't do 3-hour stuff or 3-hour movies. They just can't. It doesn't work out. So,
I get it.
Yeah. So
I, on the other hand, am the guy that likes the extended editions of Lord of the Rings and the Watchmen extended cut.
You are weird.
PBS extended cut. If there's an extended cut, I want to see it, because most of the time, not all the time, most of the time, I prefer it over. There's been cases which I can't at the top of my head can't think of, but most of the time I prefer an extended cut over the especially something I love.
There's always going to be times where you just kind of want a little more context. Like with Tenet, like I wanted like 5 minutes more of footage that would have helped explain kind of the storyline. So it just, there's always going to be times where that's the case, but like with Lord of the Rings, I thought they could have easily chopped like another 30 minutes out of that and still had a pretty decent movie.
Stop it. I'm loving it. I'm going for the 4-hour edition. Every single one of them's like 4 hours, and I love it. Matter of fact, you want to back the dump truck or the Brinks truck up of money to George Lucas's house and get that 4-hour cut of Revenge of the Sith. I'm there for it, and I will watch it in movie theaters. I will watch it in the movie theaters. Bring it on. Hey, he wants to cut it down to 3 hours. Whatever, I'm fine. Let him go, because he said there was so much more footage, and man, now we're getting on a tangent, but if you look at the deleted scenes on the Blu-ray of Revenge of the Sith, there is that there's, god damn it, it's finished and everything, and it should have been in the movie. It's like 45 seconds, and it's Yoda getting in the pod and going to Dagobah, and the pod opens and like just like it, pans out on the swamps of Dagobah, and like just the look on Yoda's face of like, damn, he's been defeated. And I'm like, why would you not put that in there? It's 45 seconds. It's excellent. I still think that should be edited in there right now.
I'm gonna have to go back and look. I've got the DVD. So
yes, it should be on that too. But it's completely finished VFX and everything. It's like it matches the rest of the movie. And to me, I was like, why wouldn't you put that in there? It's fantastic. And it I don't know. That's just a little tangent. But sorry, we'll get back. We'll get back on the speeder bike. We'll get back on the path here.
Well, no, here's a womp rat for you that I kind of just thought about. Okay. If you could pick one anthology movie for Disney to make, doesn't matter where, right now, what would you pick? One movie only.
It'd be tricky to do, but it could be done. I want the Padawan years of Dooku to Yoda. I want the now I know we got a little bit of that in kind of in Master and Apprentice and a Dooku audio drama, but I want like the stuff they did do, or even just some of the stuff they barely touched on. Like, let's flesh that out in there, because I want to see a young, barrel-chested Dooku out there all regal and shit, and like, just all manly and muscly, and like little Yoda being like, Dooku, must learn you, like just going at it. Like, I want to see more of that, because I did like the little bits you get from definitely Dooku and the little bits of Masters and Apprentice, where it's like, like Yoda chose Dooku out of everybody, and that's not who he wanted. And like, I don't know. I just personally, and plus Yoda's, I know we're going to get him in his prime in the High Republic, but to see him, like, because you could do the CGI Yoda again then, and like build it, you know what I mean? And like find somebody that looks enough like a young Christopher Lee and can do that regal voice of, Dooku. Like, I would love that personally, but that's just me, because I know I'm like the only one here, but I'm like Dooku cheerleader here. Like, hey, number one, I'm the only one on my island over here, but I'll ride it out. I love Dooku.
Travis Hines says you look like a pylon.
Oh, well, thanks. Because I'm all orange?
Yeah, I guess.
Thanks.
For me, one that I'd really like to see is I'd love to see kind of an Asajj Ventress backstory. Like,
yes.
Get her.
I'm there for that too.
Ender, where she meets Dooku. Yes. I think that would be really cool.
Her master,
another one that
Show me from where she gets picked at, where her master, she trained for as a Jedi, as a Padawan, like for like what, 3 years before he got killed and Dooku found her, or not even however long it was, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that'd be a really interesting story to kind of tell, like, even if you go back all the way to the Night Sisters and kind of start there.
Oh, I'm there for it. Let's do it. I'll watch that in a heartbeat.
Another one I kind of wanted was the Ahsoka book turned into a movie. I thought that would be a really good choice.
Okay. It needs a little tweaking.
Yeah, it would need a little tweaking.
But you could definitely do it. Yeah, that's a good in between. You're right. That would work.
And it especially to get her like engrossed into live action, because I think that's kind of what she's missing. Like, she's gonna show up in The Mandalorian, and I mean, yes, maybe people have seen the Clone Wars, but I mean, there's always gonna be that one person that hasn't seen the Clone Wars and goes, "Who is this character, and why should I care about her?"
Because draw them in, exactly.
When she's in The Mandalorian, people are gonna kind of act like there's gonna be this like fanboy girl moment where it's like she suddenly drops in. There's going to be one of those, and people are not gonna understand why she's there. So I thought that would be a really good introduction.
You know what else I would like? give me a Grievous series. Show me before he does the upgrades. And then when he does, and as he slowly upgraded, show me the Jedi he kills because he's hated them so much. Like, show me how he collected his first lightsaber, and like show almost all the way to the point that like technically we don't see him until Revenge of the Sith, but we know he was in the Clone Wars before. But like, show me like how he got his first lightsaber, and then technically where his first appearance into the Clone Wars, like right before. You know what I mean? Show me that little bit of how he started. He was kept because in the Clone Wars you get that one Grievous Lair episode. And at the statues you look, you can see how he slowly upgraded himself. Well, show me those stories of like, okay, at first it started with like, it's just an arm that, what's going to pop into two, like, and then it was like, okay, well now I need those legs. And then basically he was the proto Vader, you know what I mean? And with Palpatine helping him along, he was the prototype Vader, him and Dooku helping him along. But show me that process of Great Warrior before the mechanical upgrades, and then just kind of slowly going, you could time skip, whatever you want to do, but just show me that. I think that'd be fascinating.
That would be an interesting one.
Because you could introduce different Jedi and just show how Grievous became a machine, like how he became the general of the entire droid army and basically the secondary face of the separatist movement, because obviously Palpatine was behind the strings, Dooku was the face, and basically Dooku's right-hand man was Grievous.
That would be really interesting to see. I'm trying to think if there's like an original trilogy one I'd want to see. I mean, we've talked about Luke training the new Jedi Order all the time. Like, I think we've said enough about that one.
You've seen a little bit of Solo.
Yeah.
I'd go
Afra
Lando.
would be a good choice. I really like Afra.
Okay.
That is one audio drama that I think you'd like.
I need to check it out. I've heard mixed bag about it, but that doesn't mean anything for me. I'll check it out for myself. If I don't like it, whatever, I'll turn it in. Hope that if I do like it, then I do like it.
Yeah. I thought it was good. Sarah Kuhn, she did a fantastic job with it.
I don't know. We could go. I mean, there's a bunch of give me some Rebels characters, like show me young Kanan. Let's go. Let's show me young Kanan, or show me young Hera. Like, we know we see her father in Clone Wars, and like we know the next time we see her and her dad, like it's in Rebels. Well, show me a little bit of how Hera gets sucked into the rebellion, or to want to even start the Phoenix Squadron and stuff. Like, give me that. Well, there's that. I know Hera and Kanan intertwine, and like, I don't know. That's one of my favorite like quote couple, love story couple things in all Star Wars. I just love those two together. You know what I mean? The way they play. So show me how. I know like I said, I know they did that comic deal, but like, give me more of that. I'll watch that too. If you want to bring in some animated characters to flesh out and make a little more robust. And
I wouldn't say necessarily like a Rebel sequel series, because I think we're gonna get that already. Like, I think most people have figured that out, that we're gonna get that.
Like I said, I think it's going to be a successor series, not a sequel series, and it's going to be done in live action. I think by the time Mando's done, it's Ahsoka, it's Sabine, and it's Captain Rex, and they are on the hunt for Ezra, and that is your pseudo sequel, because technically Hera's off in the rebellion and raising Jason. Spoilers: Kanan's dead. Zeb and Callus are in this like the new Zabrak homeworld that you can't even really get to. It's hard as hell to get to, but they're over there chilling out doing stuff
in the chaos.
So really, basically. So who does that leave you with? That leaves you with those three, because I don't see if Ahsoka asks Captain Rex, or if he knows that she's going into the quote chaos or the unknown region, Captain Rex is saddling up. Like, that's his. That was his commander. That was his. You know what I mean? Like he will follow her into battle anywhere, and he's proven it. So I could definitely see those three going and doing it, but like, I don't think like that's my opinion, that it'll be a pseudo sequel. Maybe we get a live action Chopper. Maybe they wheel in a Chopper just to make it go, oh. But then again, I want him to stay with Hera too. But that's my theory, is that the pseudo sequel will be in live action with at least Sabine and Ahsoka, but probably Rex too, and it will be the hunt for Ezra, and we will run into Thrawn out there, and eventually Ezra and all. That's my big grand tinfoil hat theory.
Well, okay, so I want to piggyback off of that, but I will piggyback off of it in our Chaos Rising discussion on books 2 and 3.
Sounds good.
So actually, it's a perfect time for us to take a quick ad break and then dive into Mando trilogy.
Oh wait,
I know, but I gotta get them in.
I know.
So
I know.
We're at podcast magic. Ad. And 3, 2. We'll wait till Nathan spits his gum out. 1.
I getting the dog. Sorry.
And we're back. Thanks for if you're watching live. Thanks for listening, for being patient on the podcast magic.
Words are hard. We know,
Words are hard.
Words are hard.
I had physical therapy today, and it like shot my mouth. It's weird.
Where do you want to go
working
now?
The jaw muscles.
Oh yeah, I get it. I get told to stop working mine out all the time. I talk too much.
But hey, that's why we're podcast hosts, right?
Mm.
So, next topic. Mando season 2 trailer, which dropped the day after we recorded the last episode. The day after. So
I gave some initial thoughts on Super Civil Servants that next day it came out, but I didn't really get into too deep with it. And I'm curious to hear your thoughts on it, theories, speculations, what you liked, what you didn't like. What do you think?
So I liked that they didn't have dialogue from season 2. It was all the armorer's statement from the last episode where she said, "You're going to have to go hunt for them," or for his family, and like the whole Jedi War and everything with the Mandalorians. I thought that was really cool. Because the trailer as a whole doesn't give a lot away, which I always love about a trailer.
No.
I don't need to see a whole lot.
It does. It does, but it does. You're right. It gives you just enough to go, ooh, what's that? Or I think I know what that is. And then I agree with you.
Yeah. I thought they added in some funny moments to just kind of catch your attention, like that last scene in the fight scene where
the whistling birds.
Yeah, Baby Yoda sees the whistling birds and is like, "Oh crap!" and then hits the button and like disappears.
Yeah. That was definitely hilarious. That is the button on the trailer that make you go, "Oh yeah, this is where we're at."
Yeah.
Well, I wanna. What do you think about, like? Let's just kind of. I'm gonna try to break it down in my mind. It opens up. And the Razor Crest is about half derelict, with the cargo bay open. The engines are one's flaring out and basically turning off. It's got an erratic flight pattern going over I don't know, a green plane, a gas giant plane, or whatever you want to call it, heading to that blue one. I've heard speculation. Okay, first of all, where do you think maybe that takes place? When you watched that, did any of that like catch you to be like, oh, that might be this and this?
I actually pulled up the trailer because I was watching it before you joined, because I haven't watched it in a while. So yeah, he's got the cargo bay open and one of the engines that are that looks like planet Earth in the background. Like
that's what I said too. But there's a lot of people speculating, and I do know why. Is that they think it might be Mon Cal, because later in the trailer when they're on those boat things there. There are what's the other species that lives with the Admiral Akbars on Mon Calamari? The Mon Cal?
It's the shark species.
No. The Mon Cal and then the squid face guys. God damn it, what are their names? It's the Akbar, then the one's got like the 2 tentacle things on their face.
Oh gosh. Hang on, we can Google this. I can't
think of it right now. Damn it.
Keep going.
But anyway, there's people that are speculating that it's Mon Cal that is Admiral Akbar's home planet, because you see some of them, and there's like the weird boat thing at the end, which is still weird, but okay.
Corrin.
What else? The Corrin, yes, the Corrin. But I'd be fine with the shark people too, because I love that shark separatist general from the Clone Wars. I thought he was really cool. But there's people that are speculating that it's that, which I think would be awesome. I also think there's very clear evidence that it could be Kamino, because we saw in the first season that guy, he had a Kamino patch on, like a straight up Kamino patch from, the Clone World. So but Queel says in season 1, basically he says that like he can tell that he's not a clone, like Baby Yoda. The Baby Yoda is natural. Like he says it in, a Star Wars way, but Queel basically says that Baby Yoda is not a clone. But like I said, with knowing that the cloners are, I just think there could be a very good reason that we could go back to Kamino, especially if another rumor is true. Like it could all interconnect, because supposedly Boba Fett's going to be in it. We know Tamara Morrison is in the show, but we don't know if he's Captain Rex, if he's Commander Cody, if he's Boba Fett, if he's
Keep going,
a clone we've never met before. We don't know. So I damn it, where was my train of thought going? Where was I going? I lost it. God damn it. Oh man. Oh yeah, to go back to Camino. Like I'm just saying, if you're tracing all that stuff down, like there's a very good reason. Like we know the Jedi had a lot to do. Like the Camino's played a big influence with the Jedi. It's intertwined. If he's hunting for the Jedi, it's very reasonable that he stops by Camino for a cup of tea, whatever. I don't know. I think there's a possibility, but who knows? In this place, it could be a whole new water world. It could be the ocean moon of Endor again, for all we know. Maybe he's coming to look at the wreckage of the Death Star. You know, maybe we get that glimpse because we see that in the Rise of Skywalker, or it could be somewhere completely different. I don't know. There's just a couple of the theories and speculation I've heard out there.
I could also say it's Naboo, because Naboo is supposed to apparently look a lot like Earth from the. That's what everyone says.
Naboo. Well, I mean, if you look at it, anytime we see it come up in the prequels or in Clone Wars or whatever, like, yeah, I agree with you. It tends to look a lot Earth-like, and that's, in my opinion, that's like one of the most beautiful planets in all of Star Wars. I love the way that planet looks.
Yeah. So there's that aspect. The water world is cool. Have we ever seen like actual boats on water in Star Wars?
The Rise of Skywalker, Rey uses that sailboat with a jet with a motor on it, like, which I still, but yeah, I'm trying to think in the Clone Wars anything. Like I can't remember any just like hey, let's jump in the fishing boat and go out here. You know what I mean? Like
like you see a lot with like repulsors and everything. You don't repulsors. You don't see like actual like sitting in the water boats.
Right. What comes up next in the trailer? The ice planet. Man, there's a lot of speculation about that. And number one theory, have you heard it? What did you hear?
I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but the lightsaber crystal planet.
Ilum.
Yeah.
That it is Ilum / Starkiller Base in the beginning of the trench for Starkiller. Like that huge trench is there. People are saying like this could be the beginnings because Starkiller Base.
Well, Jedi Fallen Order, it shows Ilum with the huge trench.
Right. Yes. And we know in The Force Awakens, Starkiller Base hasn't been completed for that long. So that gives them a good 20 years, 25 years. And if they've already started the trench, like it, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It could be hell. It could be Hoth. It could be a completely different planet that we don't know about or that we're just not thinking. It could be the fucking one planet that we've seen in Star Wars that actually has seasons from the end of Clone Wars Season 7 where it started out as a desert, and then when Vader gets there, it's snowing, because that's the only planet in the history of Star Wars that's ever had a changing season. Every other one's sand planet, forest planet, ocean planet, lava planet, and that's all they do.
Vader's appearance in the end of Clone Wars was years later. It wasn't any specific time.
Right. I know. I'm just giving it shit. It just cracks me up. But it could be that planet. But then again, we don't know what that planet was at the end of Clone Wars Season 7.
Yeah.
Maybe it is all one and the same, and because Dave Filoni's behind it, you know what I mean? Like, and Dave Filoni likes his interconnective little aha moments.
Yeah. Could be. So we know Jon Favreau. I want it to be Ilum too.
I would love that.
We know Jon Favreau's directing the season premiere.
Yes.
I think that's about all we know as far as who's directing who. So it'll be interesting to see. October 30th, that drops. We will be covering it November 1st, live on YouTube.
Right.
So Sunday morning.
Sunday.
Sunday.
I do like, God, what was it? Sasha Banks in there. I am more and more convinced that is definitely her playing. She's playing Sabine in live action. I'm just more and more convinced. She looked like she was a dead ringer. If they would have put little diamonds on her face, that could have been Barriss right there. And we could have been like, yep, okay, we found out Barriss survived and she's been all hiding or whatever. But I really think they're trying to trick you into thinking she's a Jedi with the cloak and all this. But I really think that's Sabine, because the Darksaber, all this connects in. And if they haven't confirmed it, but Katie Sackhoff is all but confirmed that she's playing the live action Bo-Katan. And like it just makes too much sense for her to not be Sabine. Like, because the Darksaber's involved. We know Rosario Dawson's although not confirmed, that she's coming in as Ahsoka. We know the last time we saw them was right little, a year after Return of the Jedi, and they go off on the mission. So this is a couple years later. They should be together. We know Tamara Morrison's back. The huge speculation that not only is he playing Rex, but he's also playing, you know what I mean? Like, playing just makes too much goddamn sense. His
agency is confirmed he's playing Boba Fett.
Yes, I heard that.
It's not confirmed anything else.
Right, but who's to say he doesn't play? Because he's the clone template. He could literally play 42 characters and that are all different.
I know. Just stating what we know is facts. Right. So I'm less convinced that Sasha Banks is Sabina. I don't.
Who you think?
I saw some good theories that she's a leftover Inquisitor.
Okay. Could she be like the 12th sister? Because like every one of the girls that are the Inquisitors, it's some, second sister, seventh sister. So what are we going to call her? Like 12th sister? I don't know.
I don't know. I thought she looked like the sister who's in Jedi Fallen Order. But I also don't know how Jedi Fallen Order ends. Don't tell me. Eventually, I will finish that game. I promise.
I get it.
But I think it's possible. Like, and they could have purposely not finished the visual effects to leave you in the dark on that, because we all know that they had like the Sith eyes. The Inquisitors did. So it's possible either way. But they said something along the lines like she could have been untrained, like her training couldn't have necessarily been finished as an Inquisitor. And that's how Moff Gideon picked her up. As like kind of the hunt for Baby Yoda.
So you're saying like we know Moff Gideon's got more surprise. Like I am thoroughly convinced now he has a fully operational, fully staffed with minor vehicles and everything Star Destroyer. I think he might like Thrawn has, what is it, like the 7th fleet or whatever. He's got 3 ships under him basically. I could totally see Moff Gideon having his Star Destroyer and 2 smaller Star. You know what I mean? Like I could see him having not a fleet but a small battle command, and that would be interesting. If not only does he have some firepower like that and this glossy, like power, but perhaps an Inquisitor, like somebody force sensitive, like that would be. Not only does he have the Darksaber, like I said, my speculation is the Star Destroyer. He's got full battalion and squadrons. Like, wouldn't it be interesting if he had basically a Dark Jedi at this point? Because it wouldn't be an Inquisitor, wouldn't be a Sith, wouldn't be a Jedi. It'd be basically a Dark Jedi. That'd be a huge kudo in your back pocket, or a Hail Mary, or whatever you want to say. Like like, hey, I'm throwing her at you, and you're done. You're done.
Yeah, I think potentially another option, and now this one's like way out there, but we know that this season's supposed to be bigger into the exploration of the beginning of the First Order. Another option could be Moff Gideon kind of recruits Ray Sloan, and Ray Sloan goes undercover, and Sasha Banks is Ray Sloan. I don't see it completely, but I do think that it's possible, because we know Ray Sloan leaves in Aftermath to build the First Order per previous instructions from Palpatine.
How old would she be though? Because Sasha Banks is young. She's a young lady, and if this Ray Sloan if we're going by what you said in Squadrons that you think she's in there, she look a little bit older than that to me. It doesn't match up.
Well, then they specifically didn't show her hair, because Ray Sloan has that gray streak in her hair.
This is true, but you also wouldn't show Sabine either, because Sabine's always got blue or bright red or fire orange or whatever. And Sasha Banks is known for having 40 different colors of hair in a year.
She also, and I know you're gonna say to this, but she's not the correct race for Sabine. Sabine's Asian, and Sasha Banks is African American.
Kind of. I mean, not like I'm not like trying to take any of her black. Like, it's a lot easier to I don't know. I'm not even gonna say it because there's no way you can say that it sounds good. All right, fine, whatever. Their skin colors are close enough. Like I'm not trying to boil it down to that, and it sounds terrible, but the translation from what Sabine looks like in the show Rebels to what Sasha Banks looks like, you hold their quote unquote put arms up like this, and you go, "Yep, that matches." And Sasha's got the facial features kind of. And then, like I said, she's got the muscular build, which is the perfect thing. She's small, super athletic, and cut out, which is what Sabine would look like, in my opinion. If you're going to bring her to live action, she's going to be small, like we saw in Rebels. It's been a couple years later, so she's going to be a little bigger, a little more musculature, and still be able to go like that. To me, it translates, but I totally see what you're saying. You know what I mean? I totally see what you're saying.
And I just think that, especially with the previous character, you want to kind of go for the correct look. So
right. Which is my whole theory, though. Like she kind of does look like her, even though they're not quote unquote the same. They look a lot alike. I mean, down to the tone in pigment. Let's put it the pigment tone. You know what I'm saying? So like, come on, like I don't know. I get what you're saying.
I see what you're saying.
I think they actually do.
And I would have agreed, but then I kind of saw her and I was like, okay, it definitely doesn't look like Sabine in that take.
Sure.
I think you could pull off Rae Sloane. That the age is different because in this case, Rae Sloane was born in 41 BBY. So in the aftermath, she would be about 51. So it doesn't look like Rae Sloane. So
you know what I just thought of? What were the two terrible chicks that were a waste of a story arc in season 7 of Clone Wars? Why couldn't it be one of those? Why couldn't it be one of them finding Ahsoka again and being like, my sister died, Rafa and what was the other one's name? The young one, the young one that was Ahsoka's fault. Why couldn't that be her? Because they made it a point to put those two. Yes, the Martez, like they made it a point to let's waste a story arc on these three that goes nowhere. Sorry. But I'm just saying, and like we know the Bad Batch, people were like, what are we doing with this? Like that was a backdoor pilot. Maybe it's one of the Martez sisters. I could be totally wrong. You know what I mean? Maybe it's a red herring all the way around, and that's why they do have the cloak, because they got you thinking Rae Sloane, they got me thinking Sabine, and like this whole time it's gonna be nah, Martez. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like you might be right. I don't know.
It's possible. Like I don't think the Martez arc was a waste because I think it helped Ahsoka.
I'm just giving it shit.
I know. But I want to clarify my position because you said something. So yeah, I think Sasha Banks, I don't think she's who we're expecting. I think it's going to be a pull out of left field. My big bet is Inquisitor.
I would love that, honestly. Like, yeah, that's one of the best ones that I've heard that I go, oh yeah, that's different. Let's do that. I can go with that, because that would even give Ahsoka a foil, kind of, if she's got to come in at the last minute to kind of help out. Like if there's a actual lightsaber train, which I know Moff Gideon, they like, and John Carlos Esposito said that he's actually trained saber fighting and shit. So like we're gonna see him wield that
he's gonna use it a lot this season.
But if you're gonna go, like he's known, I don't care how many hours he trained after he acquired this Darksaber, he's not going toe to toe with Ahsoka Tano, who was like leading battle, 14 years old, leading troops into battles and fighting off battalions of battle droids. And she's gone all the way through in the Rebels. Like she's very proficient with those lightsabers. She literally went toe to toe with Vader and walked away from it. And then they retconned it and she got pulled through a weird time tunnel, whatever. But she literally went toe to toe with him. Like I'm sorry, Moff Gideon, but you're not standing toe to toe with Ahsoka. But if you're right, and he's got basically a dark Jedi, an Inquisitor that went all the way through, who knows how to use a saber and the Force, that could be a great foil to her. So I really like what you're saying now, and I want that to be right. Let's do that.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see. I definitely think Bo-Katan's going to come back, whether it be present day or in flashbacks of how Moff Gideon got the Darksaber. I think flashbacks is more likely.
Oh, it could even,
because I think if you take the Darksaber from someone, you're not a man. Like I'm not going to say that, because I think if you are a Mandalorian, you're definitely going to kill the person who had the Darksaber before you, because you don't want them to take it back. So I think flashbacks is more likely, because I think he would have killed her to get the Darksaber. So.
Well, not only that, let's remember that Death Watch is the one that saved Din Djarin, the Mandalorian. We saw Death Watch. Technically, like Bo she could still be like, I know Maul broke it into a splinter group part, but she could still technically, like, we can see her in a flashback as a part of Death Watch. Maybe she's the one that found Din Djarin, you know what I mean? Or like, so you're right, it could work that way to maybe it's a thing where we see her in the past and he reconnects with her in present day of something, you know what I mean? I didn't even think of that. We could see her in the past.
I think anything's kind of possible at this point because I think Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are just kind of pulling from all angles.
Whatever they want, right? We got literally Gamorrean guards in a fight, like axe fighting each other and being all buff and stuff. I thought that was great. We got the Pig Warriors. Let's get them in there.
Yeah. So what do you hope to see out of Mandalorian season 2?
More greatness. I literally I don't know. I really liked it. I have faith in the showrunners. I think they know what to do. They can give these other directors the freedom to do what they want, while if they start stepping it, they can keep it in the context of their universe, which keeps it in the context of the overall universe. I literally have so much faith in Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau that it's like whatever. I trust them. Like if they think it works, like I'm going with the ride until they give me a reason not to. They earn their chops and prove their spot. Dave Filoni's been proving it with his knowledge and his know-how in animation, but going into live action, and then like I said, Jon Favreau, just like I said, I have complete faith in those guys. So I'm just going along for the ride. I'm just excited to see where they go.
Yeah. Well, I really think that's it. Like, I'm kind of open to the same thing, just kind of keeping up the momentum of what it has. I'm not necessarily looking for any specific cameos one way or another. We do know we're going to go back to Tatooine because there's a bantha there.
Yes, insane people.
Yep. So we're going to go back to Tatooine.
Which is cool.
I hope we go to Ilum. It'll be interesting to see if Baby Yoda gets a name this season.
He will, but nothing. They kind of messed up by not naming him in the first season, because now it's been Baby Yoda for so long. Because I know they were telling podcasts, YouTube, no, the child, trying to. Nobody knows the effing child. It is Baby Yoda, and you guys,
Baby Yoda,
it's a little too long. I think, like I said, they could come out and it could be like Minch was the original name for Yoda, so like there's a lot of people thinking maybe in an homage they're going to call him Minch or whatever, but. I don't know. Either way, no matter what you put up now, unless it's like Yoda Maximus Prime or something, like it's gonna have to sound way metal, or else people are like, oh, dude, whatever, baby.
Yoda Maximus Prime.
Right. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna have to be something where people are like, yeah. Like they're gonna have to remember. I don't know. I just think it's gonna be a hard sell now because they waited a little too long.
Yeah. I definitely think that like there's a lot of times where you just kind of have to get ahead of the curve with the PR, right. And you got to put a baby on screen, and technically he's 50 years old, so he's not technically a baby, but you know what I mean. Right. He's cute and adorable, and when you put something cute and adorable on screen and don't give it a name, it's gonna get named.
Exactly, because the best part, like you said in the beginning, the best part of that trailer is whenever he's like, he goes everywhere, and they're like, I know, and he just arms the whistling birds a bit. Oh, his eyes light up, and he jumps out and hits the button, and hides in there. He knows what's coming. He remembers, which that's perfect. That's the perfect button for the trailer.
Yes. So yeah, I just hope it goes well. It does look like there's a time jump with Carlos Weathers' character.
Carl Weathers.
Did not say the
Did you just
Carl Weathers?
You put some respect on that man's name. He is.
I'm sorry.
He is a national treasure, and we will treat him with more respect and reparations than that. Yeah, I found it very interesting that we barely see Grief Karga or Cara Dune. Like literally just the one scene to show when he goes back. When he goes, wherever the bounty place was, I forgot the name of that planet. But when he goes back there, apparently he needs him or sees him. I'm curious to see that. And even Baby Yoda looks a little taller. Oh, there's also a thing. He's working with the New Republic in that one scene, because you can see when they're in space, it's the Razor Crest and there's 2 X-wing escorts. Like they are either closing in on him to bring him into a planet. You know what I'm saying? Like follow my escort. You know what I mean? Basically, fighter jet now. Like right now, if somebody comes into our open airspace and we don't know who you are or whatever, we're going to send up two whatever fucking military fighters. They're going to box you in. And if you signal and you go with them, you're going to put one in front of you and one behind you. You're going to follow this one. And then they got the gunner behind you to take you out in case you do something stupid. That's what it looks like, is their formation, boom, boom on the side, which they're either, like I said, they're either escorting or flying out on a mission together. And then that next scene, I think it's just kind of throw you off. It shows him coming through the clouds, which people are saying is Cloud City.
The X-Wing edition is cool.
Right. I wouldn't be opposed to that being Cloud City. But like he's coming through and the X-Wings open up and it looks like they're chasing him down there. So I don't know if that's like a misdirect of like, oh no, they're just flying into battle because they, like I said, they started in space, they jumped in and they're going to this planet, or if they tried to escort him, he's going, oh shit, I got to get out of here, and they really are trying to fire on him. Either way, like you said, they're laying more seeds for the First Order, but we're also going to keep getting little scraps of the New Republic too, which I find fascinating to see exactly how Leia and Mon Mothma and all of them got the Republic reformed. And there's still X-Wing pilots that are the Republic now, the New Republic, or whatever they're called.
Mm-hmm. And we know the Mon Mothma actor is coming back for the Cassian Andor series. So why couldn't she make an appearance in The Mandalorian?
Yes. Give me all the Mothma. Give me all the moths. I'll take all of them.
I think it's a complete possibility to bring her in, even if it's like a hologram or something where she's giving like it, because there are in Alphabet Squadron and a couple other books where there's times where she and Leia make an appearance on a hologram as a message to say the Imperialists need to come in. If you surrender, we'll like spare your life and everything. So you could see something similar here, because Mon Mothma specifically shuts down the army. Like, she doesn't want military. She wants it just to go back to being a governing body for the New Republic. So it could be possible where you see like the X-Wings are part of an outpost or whatever, or like the sparse New Republic military that's left. But you could also see, okay, turning your arms, blah, 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 like just something Chancellor like to just kind of give a sneak peek of what's going on in the New Republic. So,
well, like I said,
especially after the raid on the prisoner ship.
That's what I was going to say. In season 1, we saw like he literally called the New Republic in their prisoner ship. So there's some sort of, in the 5-year period from Return of the Jedi till that point in season 1, there's been some kind of infrastructure in place enough to where they have prison vessels, you know what I'm saying, flying around in a squadron of X-Wings, that when something goes wrong in that prison, on that prison ship, that they can jump right there and figure out what it is. So I think I'm curious to see how that infrastructure has been built, or if they mention it at all, or if it's just kind of swept under the rug and we're just left being like, oh, you know.
Yeah, because in Aftermath, I think that takes place about 6 months after Endor, and they're going in and trying to shut stuff down, like second book. So,
I'll be curious.
So
like I said, I'm just ready for it. By the time you guys hear this, it'll be basically a month out. You know, a little. I'm ready. Ready.
This drops. This is all obviously we're live now. So if you're talking about this, but on the podcast, this drops October 1st. So we're recording this 2 days beforehand.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
But yeah, our next episode we'll be covering Mandalorian season 1. As well as any news that drops, any extra TV spots or anything of the sort. And then once the first episode for Mandalorian season 2 drops October 30th, and we will be covering each episode the Sunday after it drops. And that will be live on YouTube Sunday mornings. So get your alarms ready.
Get ready.
Is there anything else Mandalorian season 2 you want to talk about?
Nope, just give it to me. I'm ready.
Chaos Rising time! When we come back from this ad break. Okay, where's my stopwatch? Hang on. Podcast magic. And 3, 2, 1. We are back. Nathan, since you didn't get to share a lot of your thoughts last time because you were worried about spoiling, go ahead and tell us your general thoughts.
I loved this book. It definitely lived up to and met my expectations, if not even exceeding them a little bit for this book coming out. Because as I said before, I personally love the new Thrawn trilogy that is in canon. Timothy Zahn has got that character down. Like I said, I do the audiobooks a lot, and it definitely helps that Mark Thompson, like the way he does the cadence and then the way he talks and presents the character for that, it definitely helps the whole package to it. I love the character, and I was scared that a prequel book, like not scared, but I was afraid that we're gonna be like, oh, we gotta, Thrones too infallible, or you know what I mean, like we gotta kind of dirty him up or dummy him up or what, kind of like him. Like I said, my biggest problem with his appearance in Rebels is that one episode where he loses control and grabs that guy and throws him over the table, because that is not the character I know. But I was pleasantly surprised to show no. And you remember how you and I asked, we asked the question, well, it was Thrawn.
Thrawn special?
Was he special even amongst his own people? And I'm happy to say he absolutely was, which makes it so much better. And Arlani, like, I really love her character. She's a great companion, for Thrawn to go through, like the person that has his back and she understands him. Like, I really love the two going off each other. I love where this is set in the timeline, which I know you were shocked at when you finally got to that part. Like, I got a text message in all caps going, "What?" So, like, I just thought that was really. I thought that was
I will put the disclaimer now. We are talking spoilers, so if you don't want Chaos Rising spoilers, do not continue. So go ahead and say what part I was surprised at.
That this takes place right before Thrawn Alliance, to where we get the backstory of where Anakin and Thrawn work together to get Padme off of Black Spire, Batu, which is to get them out the Black Spire outpost. Basically, at that time, it was a factory that they were working on different armors for it. Like, it takes place right before there. We find out, because I remember in that book, like, when he meets Anakin, he's got a pilot on this little freighter ship, and like in this book, we don't hear anything of him until the very end of that book, and then he takes off and he says, I'll see you. Maybe I'll see you around sometime before it flashes the Vader. We'll come to find out it's the little Skywalker that he teaches to fly and breaks off on this mission that he's not supposed to go on, gets the generator, and that generator that we found out in that book, like, what, 4 years ago?
Yeah, he was like,
comes into play in this book as a clutch. Like, it's so well done of how they wove those together, like, butted them right up to each other, and then, like, when they go off, they go. I loved it. I loved it.
Yes, it was so well tied together, and I think this book is kind of what I've been missing from Thrawn's character, because in the Thrawn books, it's so focused on Thrawn, but in this book, you get other characters around him and like other characters who are describing him and kind of going into it and everything. And so this book,
the inner workings of the Chiss is like, it's no wonder he works so good in the Republic, because it's a lot of the militaristically, that's not how you say it.
Militaristic.
The militaristic, like, that's the same, and even the politics are the same to a certain degree, but like with the Myth family and like the 9 ruling families and stuff, like it's an easy transition where you can see how he would think the Republic would be a good fit to help them against a growing threat out there, because you could, from the way this book goes and what we know of the Empire and like how Palpatine has it set up, these militaries could intermix and mesh to make a strong hammer to go up against any kind of threat. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, they translate. And like you said, I loved the background of just kind of like how his people work, why they stay so safe, why they're force sensitives. Like, they're called Skywalkers and people don't know that they have them. They protect them at all costs, which we found out in Thrawn Treason. But like, we really know that like their entire race and civilization protects Skywalkers at all. There is no more valuable commodity in the Chiss ascendancy than a Skywalker. It's perfect.
Here get kidnapped by General Yib, and everyone flips out, and they're like, "Yes, holy crap, dude! What are you doing?"
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's so smart too, because like that's him actually playing political, and like they make it out to, like, in this thing you find out like there's a point where Thrawn messed up, and you're like, and when I first read it, I'm like, oh man, are they gonna, like, that was always my big worry, is like, it's like, oh, Thrawn did this one thing and he was a huge screw up, but it makes so much sense with the character that we know because he did screw up. But of course, it was politically. It wasn't military. Yeah. It was politically he messed up, and it just the way that works out, and
it drove him insane.
And it drove him insane. And now, like he tried to look for politics, he couldn't figure it out. Like he at one point says in the book, like battle tactics and military schematics, like he just sees it, like it jumps out almost like am I thinking they're like autistic, like where like numbers? What is the one where
you could say that like
not, but you know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't say autistic, but
not autistic, but what's the one where like the kids look at him, like the numbers just jump out at them, like you know what I mean? And like they can figure out codes and like the shit, it just lights up to them. And I can't,
just makes sense.
Forgive me, yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like Thrawn almost sees that with battle plans, and he goes, but in the political, it's like a different kind of chess, and he just can't see the pieces or even how they go together. I don't know. Like I said,
it's like someone who's a math genius trying to understand English.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like, and this is, I'm telling you, like, I really love this book. I love like General Yib the Benevolent, like the way he goes about stuff. And like, he was a great foil to Thrawn. And there's, like I said, spoiler, like eventually Thrawn beats him, and like even beats him so bad at his own game that like he's not really anything. But at the end, you get that tease of like General Yib, he may have like been the face. He was basically the Dooku, if you think about it, because he was general and he commanded all these troops, but there was somebody bigger behind the scenes that basically acts like he's nothing. You know what I mean? It reminds me so much of Palpatine and Dooku.
And I'm curious if they ultimately tie in Exegol. Because we knew Palpatine was connected to Exegol. Huh?
Yeah, he had Sith acolytes on Exegol while he was still Emperor. You're right. Yeah.
So it could all be tied together somehow. Like, and Palpatine was trying to put a grasp on planets and everything outside.
I'm not going personally. That's not where my mind went. I'm not saying you could be right that you definitely could do that, but that's just not where I jumped immediately. I don't know why. I just like Star Wars has always been about circles and ring theory and like basically mirror reflections. Like, you know what I mean? Like the way the stories are structured and like how the original trilogy and then like the prequel trilogy is basically a mirror of it flipped backwards going through the other way. You know what I'm saying? Like so much so that like Return of the Jedi starts with like this planet, like just even the way the shots are going, but like Phantom Menace and it literally goes in reverse and mirrors things. So I can see, because like I said, it just reminds me of so much of Dooku and the Emperor, because Dooku, like for all intents and purposes, the regular people, he was the face of the Separatists. He was the guy, but he was basically nothing, because look at how quickly Palpatine did. And like when General Yib gets beaten in this and stuff, and it's done that weird navigator guy, I can't remember his name, but you know, that other guy.
Kalori?
Yeah, Kalori. Like basically the bigger voice behind him was basically like, he's nothing. Now I know my you know what I mean? Now I know what my enemy is. Like basically he just threw him under the bus just to get more understanding about the Chiss. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I thought he was a great mental foil, where they met each other at that dinner or that ballroom party or whatever, and Thrawn and him were talking, and it was like that stalemate in front of the, you know, where they're being all like, I just love that back and forth. Like honestly, spoiler, like this book is tied with the 2016 or whatever the original Thrawn book that is in canon, which is my favorite. This one's tied with it. I thought this book was excellent.
See, I would definitely put this above the Thrawn trilogy from canon, which started with the 2016 book. Sure. I don't know if I'd put it above the Legends, but it's close, because I just think there's so much about Thrawn's character that's just so well done in the Thrawn trilogy that it's just hard to get past that. And like I've talked about it before with like the X-Wing Squadron books versus Alphabet Squadron, like wanting the same feel with X-Wing Squadron. And that's a flaw that I'm willing to I wouldn't say it's a flaw, but that's a factor that I'm willing to admit with canon books, is that I loved the Legends books so much that it's kind of hard for me to get past.
Absolutely.
Canon books now. But I really thought the ending scene with Kalori and the cultured voice, because
that's all it is. Like it's a tease. We don't get anything of it.
Yeah, he even asks, like, may I ask your name? And the voice says, you may not.
Yes, exactly. Well, I'm gonna ask you, because you are definitely the bigger Legends and you know way more of that lore than me. is there anyone in the legends that would command that kind of gravitas and respect? Like I know we always talk about wanting to bring the Yuuzhan Vong in or whatever. Well, now with this seemingly this one singular person, I'm not thinking it's them, but is there somebody like that in legends that you can go, oh shit, like Luke, like Grand Wizard Luke had a hard time fighting this character, or you know what I mean, like somebody blibbity blah or whatever. Is there somebody like that they could pluck from legends and be like, oh shit, now we're going to use him against Thrawn?
So I think there's several factors that you could kind of consider. You could say Jedi Sabath, which is he was in the Legends trilogy.
Okay.
He was in the Unknown Regions, and that was one of the villains they had to fight in the Thrawn trilogy.
Okay.
And I probably jacked up that name, but it's C''BAOTH. So I think you could pull from him because he's kind of crazy, but also manipulative to an extent.
Okay.
And was like manipulating the Nigeri, the one that he shows up in the Thrawn trilogy, and
Yes.
Rebels. You know who I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
So he was manipulating them to like help fight for him and everything.
Rook?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, okay, Rook. Yeah, that's what I thought. Rook.
So you could say it was him. I still think that the Yuuzhan Vong are a great option because they were manipulative and they tried to be kind of like a religious factory and like manipulate from afar and then kind of go in and wipe out civilizations. So I think that's a good option. They had a living planet that you can kind of see in earlier books that literally would jump in hyperspace to different locations.
Okay, that's fucking cool.
Yes.
That's cool.
And like Obi-Wan
navigate hyperspace. That's awesome.
And that's kind of what the when Ahsoka, Anakin, and Obi-Wan got pulled out of hyperspace to what was the father, the son, and the daughter's planet?
Mortis.
I kind of drew conclusions the same way with Mortis, that it was like, oh, that's the living planet. Because the Yuuzhan Vong were big into coming back behind with like vegetation and like wiping out technology and everything. So you could also throw in that option. Another option, and people are going to call me crazy because people literally hate this book series, but it's like there are a bunch of bugs and they can kind of like take over people's mind and like join as a partner. And so it's like mind wiping. It was really creepy, but I thought it was really interesting because also that's the first time you really see Leia as a Jedi instead of in the New Republic. So those might be some options. I don't really consider any of them viable to an extent, except the Yuuzhan Vong because, and I'm a little biased because I want to see Yuuzhan Vong. So.
It could, and it could just be somebody new, a new species they're making up. Like they could have given Timothy Zahn carte blanche to just say literally create a new species and make them, whether they can dampen force abilities or make them they got a super sense of smell or that they got whatever they might have just said, hey, literally do what you want in this section in the chaos, and if we want to bring these. These basically in what we would in our universe, wild space, and they're chaos. Like we can bring them in, but right now, if you want to make them and build them, and we never touch them, oh well, they're still in your corner of this. You know what? They could have just said, do what you want, make something new, make a new emperor. For lack of a better word, make a new big bad on that side of the cosmos and stuff.
Well, and I kind of thought it was interesting why I think the Yuuzhan Vong could be another great option is because of Chile. How the surface has actually iced over and is not livable on most parts. So
and they're
hiding kind of consider it terraforming and kind of something's been integrated into the planet to make it ice over. I also kind of found it interesting because I don't recall seeing it in this book, but Skywalker's losing their abilities earlier and earlier. That's also something else that's a factor in the Thrawn trilogy books. In the Thrawn treason.
In this one, it's they're around 13 or 14. No, in a treason. Remember what's her name? She kept her sight to like 18, and that's unusual because they usually lose it around 13 or 14. Which is what
but they had been losing.
too.
they had been losing it earlier and earlier. But the average ones.
Maybe you're probably right. I just don't remember that part.
So I find it interesting that Sheila and the Skywalkers are getting overwhelmed and not useful is not the right word, but you get what I'm saying. Like they're both
Absolutely.
kind of losing ground on their abilities.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was a cool factor. The other thing that could be interesting with the Yuzhan Vong is you couldn't use Force on the Yuzhan Vong.
Right.
So if you integrate some of the Yuzhan Vong culture into some of Chila's environment and maybe it spreads to other people like as a sort of virus, then people could catch it and start losing their abilities early. That's some huge conjecture, I know, but
it could be possible though. I mean, well, look, what do we know? We know Batu is the furthest outpost in the Empire/Republic, right?
Yeah, so it's a known space.
Like it's basically it's like an unknown space, like on the edge of unknown space. Basically, the borders, the chaos and the unknown region, right?
But you also see in one of the memory sections where Thrawn and Aralani are going through the artwork, he physically says that they participated in the Galactic Civil War with the Jedi and the Sith.
Mm-hmm.
And then withdrew afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I'm saying. So, like, I mean, realistically, you could have. I mean, there's a ton of possibilities. Really, it could be somebody from the universe that we know. Maybe was on Black Spire, Batu and the Black Spire outpost. Met a Chist or these people and thought, "What is this?" And now is out there and amassed their own army in the chaos. You know what I mean? It could be somebody like a race or something, the species that maybe it's an actual Sith. Like before there were like Sith lords, there were a species called the Sith. They had the red face and little. Maybe they're out there or something. You know what I mean? Maybe it could be a case where it's like a species that we've seen, but whatever happened out there, whoever amassed so much power that now they're basically the emperor of the chaos, and all these chaos, people that we don't know and shit, I know there's so many. I'm just so glad that I know we're getting 2 more books and we're going to actually find out where it goes because I am all in. And hey, can we get some more blue pages for the next one? Because that is an excellent touch, guys. I really love these pages. I love it. I love this blue texture to it.
Well, and so something that I found interesting, someone said how Shmi got her last name was that they lived on the Batu outpost and interacted with Chiss, and someone heard Skywalker. And
like
so
when she was a kid, like maybe she was a kid before she got to Tatooine and was all slaved out. I would love that.
Either that or like her parents or something,
right,
like her
right.
previous. Yeah. So it was kind of like that might be a cool Easter egg.
Okay, but I mean, honestly, like, I don't need to know how like every character got their last name. Cough, cough, Solos. Cough, cough, Ray Skywalker. Cough, cough. But I'm just saying, I mean, I would enjoy that. But I get that. That is actually an interesting. If it was just something offhanded that like we find out that like Thrawn and these people go and there's a well, I guess it would have to be further back. But yeah, that would be kind of cool if there was like 55, 70 years ago we were here and somebody heard. Our translation called Skywalker, and they're like, "Yep, that's my name now. What's up?"
So, where do you think book 2 is going? Let me follow this up before you answer.
Okay.
What would you say if we got Eli Vanto with Admiral Aralani in one of these books? So his time in the Chiss Ascendancy.
First of all, I think that is a foregone conclusion that we will get that. Second of all, yes, please give me that because Vanto is another character I really like. And like I said, I was already singing the praises of Aralani, and there's a reason why Thrawn put Vanto with Aralani. You know what I mean? There's a reason those guys are together. Which, oh God, now that you say that, like, but now I don't know if that comes in book 2 or in book 3. That's got to be in book 3 though, because Treason's not too much longer before he disappears in Rebels. You know what I mean? So, and that's where we see Vanto again with them. And I wouldn't want another Thrawn book without him.
The timing matches up because, in essence, like, if this starts in the Clone Wars, you're not going to cover. You've only got so much more room. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it could be. You're right. It could be as soon as Thrawn gets the admiral status and gets, what is it, the 7th Fleet or whatever. I can't remember. And he sends him there. We could pick up literally after Eli closes the door to the ship with Arlani, do that whole story back and forth between them. And then in the 3rd book, it coincides with Treason where they meet up again and they kind of talk in like a little bit. So I fully
wouldn't want to
expect.
see Treason again.
Well,
I would.
no, not again. But you know what I mean. Like you could piggyback off the events of that to like where Thrawn goes. You know what I mean? Like it could work. But I fully expect to see Vanto, and whether it's the next book or the 3rd book, his time, those 2 years or however long it was in between 3, his time with the Ascendancy, while he was basically just chopping numbers, thinking he wasn't doing anything, but he was really one of the most crucial points in like he's actually got a very crucial role in the Chiss Ascendancy to help figure it out, So like I would love to see that, and I fully expect to see it. I just don't know which book.
I think the next book we're gonna get, I think we're gonna see the end of it's going to be his banishment.
The exile. Yes, me too. That's what I think too. The mission.
So I think that the 2nd book's kind of gonna cover up to that, but then the 3rd book will be Eli and Admiral Arlani during Thrawn alliances, the time between Thrawn and Thrawn Treason.
Yeah, yes.
And then I think at the very end of the book, I'm putting money on this. The next time you will see Thrawn will be in TV series.
Mm-hmm. Well, I wouldn't even put it past, let's say book 3, the epilogue. Let's just say the epilogue, and it says,
like an epilogue where
10 years
Thrawn
later. Yes, that's what I was gonna say. And then it says epilogue, and you go 10 years or however long it's been from when he disappeared. You know what I mean, to the end, and it goes. We pick up and Grand Admiral Thrawn opens his eyes or pulls or whatever, or like comes out of hyperspace and the Chimera's in flames, and he looks over and Ezra Bridger is standing next to him. Like, let's go. Like, I'll be ready. Come on, let's go. I would love that.
I think that's how this is gonna go, because I think
I hope you're right.
Ultimately, I don't, especially with Thrawn going off, the big bad that we see, the cultured voice, is not going to get solved in this trilogy unless you see Thrawn later, because we know he goes off on his mission.
He's in the chaos. Him and Ezra are in the chaos.
He's in the chaos, which makes sense. But what I'm saying is the timing doesn't make sense, because
the
mission is for him to go get the ally from the Republic to work against the big bad, the cultured voice.
Yes. Exactly. The bigger threat. I agree with you. I think he maybe not necessarily finds out, but like figures out who it is, and like kind of like deflects him, almost like Superman never really stops Darkseid. He might just kind of deflect his plans to invade Earth or keep Apocalypse at bay. But like I think Thrawn does that, and I think you're right that you know what I'm saying, like he maybe keeps him at bay, but he doesn't defeat him, because I agree with you that I think that wherever Thrawn and Ezra jump to, let's just say wherever the Purgle took them, they come out of hyperspace. We know it's going to be in the chaos, because these things travel vast distances because they know how to navigate hyperspace. You know what I mean? No matter what. I think they come out literally in the middle of behind enemy lines of wherever this cultured voice, like wherever he, like I think they jump directly into, oh shit, we're in danger space. You know what I mean? And because that automatically flips the Chimeras down to half staff, because the Purgle destroyed the ship. People got sucked out. People were getting killed. That makes Thrawn immediately assess the situation, figure out what space he's in. That takes Ezra from an enemy to an immediate asset. He's got a Skywalker with him. He may not have the traditional Skywalker, but we saw in Alliances he helped Vader navigate like his do. You know what I mean? That turns Ezra immediately into an asset. Ezra being out in the middle there too, and Thrawn being the only one that knows stuff, he's not going to go after him. That puts them up as the unlikely team up, and that kind of that's I think that's where you bring the redemption arc for Thrawn. We get Ezra back, and let's go. Like we get a mission of those two have to work together, and the whatever half staff is left on the Chimera limping along to get out of enemy space, which will be this cultured voice. And then Thrawn goes, "Damn it! Now it's time to actually take this guy down."
Yeah. So I don't think
a lot of speculation, but that's what I think.
A lot of conjecture, a lot of speculation.
Yeah.
But needless to say, I think we both agree this is not this
The
book
end.
series is not going to be the end of Thrawn. But it was funny because Timothy Zahn was going back through all of the Star Wars books that he had written before writing, like in prelude to Chaos Rising.
Sure.
And he said that there was only 2 times where he had been asked for multiple books. Like the Thrawn books was not originally a trilogy. Disney came back and said, we want more books.
Are these new ones?
The canon books.
Okay.
So the Thrawn trilogy, 2016, it wasn't originally planned out to be a trilogy.
It was intended to be just the 2016 Thrawn book.
And then Disney kind of saw the reaction and was like, okay, we want to build this character more. Disney came and offered him a trilogy for this. So there is a plan.
In Zahn we trust. Okay? In Zahn we trust. If it comes to, I know there are other great novel writers in the Star Wars universe, but immediately Timothy Zahn pops to the top of the list for me. And I now, granted, my scope of the written word in the Star Wars universe is nowhere near as vast as yours, but my God, he jumped straight to the top for me personally. And then there's
Audio Gray, I would say.
Drew something that I can't remember, but the guy that wrote the Revan book, he also did the Mouth book.
Capson?
Yeah, something like that. He also did the Mouth. Like those two to me jump up number 1 and 2. God, what was man? I can't. Oh, the one who did Dark Disciples, I think did a really good job. Forgive me, I can't remember her name. Thought Dark Disciples was an excellent entry from taking episodes of Clone Wars and making them into novelization form. Thought it was excellent. But like I said, Zahn jumps to the top for me, and then the other one that I cannot remember, I should have come better prepared. And next time, one of these times, I'm going to eventually have notes for when I show up and do the show instead of just doing everything fly by the seat of my ass.
So this is the Old Republic book I have. I thought I had the Revan book, but
I've got that one.
Deceived.
Yeah. And what's the author's name?
Paul S. Kemp.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. What's that one? What do you got there?
This is the bug book. It's called the Dark.
Oh God, that's your bug book.
This is the bug book. See, it's got Han nice and pretty with the bug on the front.
Okay. All right.
I could show you my whole bookshelf.
What if the bad guy? What if the bad guy turns out and it's like we figured out what it is, and it's a crossover, and it's the USS Enterprise coming with Jean-Luc Picard, and that's been the bad guy the whole time, and people go no.
No Star Trek.
Hang
on.
Holding, guys, we're holding. I'm sure Katie's she's onto something over there on her dang bookshelf. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, guys, though, I don't want to oversell it and you guys get the book like, oh, this sucks, but I thoroughly enjoyed Thrawn Ascend to see Chaos Rising. I look so forward to the next 2 installments in this trilogy. And like I said, I think if they are bringing Thrawn into live action, like there are rumors hinted at, please be smart, Disney. Give the guy a couple shekels. He doesn't care. He loves the character. Yeah. He's not going to charge a bunch, but have him on set or in the writer's room or whatever to the way he can kind of look over like, no. Thrawn wouldn't do that. He wouldn't lose control and throw a guy over the goddamn, battle deck. Like, I don't know. I
think they brought him in after they had already shot that.
They did. So. You're right. I get it.
So I wanted to show you the covers for the rest of these.
Okay. What's that?
So there's Leia with her lightsaber.
The Unseen Queen. Is that what that says?
Yep, the Unseen Queen.
Nice.
And then this one is called the Swarm War.
Oh, look at Luke there looking all badass.
Force lightning, man.
Yes.
And then just for shits and giggles, here's Vector Prime.
What's a Vector Prime? What is that thing with the mask?
This is the first book of the New Jedi Order and that is the Yuzun Vong.
Oh, let's make that the bad guy. That's cool as all looking.
So I've got every book but the Young Jedi Academy books. Before the new
When we
Jedi
take
Order.
donations, listeners, our address is P.O. Box. No, I'm just kidding.
So I've got everything after Return of the Jedi except the Jedi Academy books, and comics.
Nice.
But then I was slowly expanding my before Return of the Jedi collection, and then Disney bought Star Wars. So.
And they
Then
came
I
in and said, all that shit you've been doing for years and reading and collecting, forget all of it. We're making all of it Legends.
I know. But see, this one, I'm like, I was so good because they still publish these books. They just come with the Legends banner on top. And I was like, I was so close to having a collection without the Legends banners.
That manga, that's the manga there. That's I forgot to
Is that
when we were
Malga?
talking on the last Alliance, and I was telling about that scene that you could look up on YouTube and it goes through. It's that book I was talking about that does that character, because you read in that book and they describe it all going on, and then when they did the game, there's actually a trailer of exactly what happens in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But
my plan is to
I'm good.
those.
I don't have anything else to say about Chaos Rising, and unless you got some more you want to spin some yarn about.
I don't really have anything else as well. I will be publishing a review on my personal website, slicerscribbles.com. It should be up this weekend, to kind of go into further detail about it. But I would say this is my favorite canon Thrawn book. Definitely. So it's up there. I will be rereading the Thrawn trilogy because Chris Balga and I are going to do an episode, and I want the context from that before we dive into the comic.
What kind of? You're going to do the comics, huh?
Yeah, we're going to do the Legends comic, and I'm going to try and make him read the trilogy.
Nice.
Chris,
we'll see.
We'll see.
Right. He's a very busy man.
Yes, but I love those books. Zahn did a fantastic job with them, and they introduced my favorite character, Mara Jade. So even more points. But no, that's all I have left. Definitely, I would say, and I don't know if you would agree on this, but I would say if you haven't read the Thrawn trilogy, the Kanan Thrawn trilogy, then I would read this one first, because I think it provides a much better introduction into Thrawn than the Kanan trilogy does, and I think it'll help give you a lot of context with the Kanan books. So
I can't think of an argument to go against that. Honestly, I could definitely see that. I can see the argument for that. I think you could go either way. You could do the one, in the years they were released, whatever. But I cannot argue against you. I think you're right. You could start with this easily and go. You can start with this and then jump right into the prime timeline or whatever. No problem.
Yeah, I think it would work. So, and then because I think then you would also have the context for the Anakin Skywalker and Thrawn section of Thrawn Alliances. So you don't just jump into that. So, but that's all I have.
Me
Unless
too.
you got something else. So cool.
Nope.
We've been going for almost an hour and a half. So
yeah.
Why don't you tell us where they can find you on Twitter when you're on Twitter? Cough, cough.
Nowhere. Oh wait, when I am there, it's usually Wobbly Boots 85, but I have not been on there in a while. I don't know. At Wobbly Boots 85, when I decide to jump back in, or you can find me on the show here or live Friday nights on Super Civil Servants Podcast.
Yes.
But what about you, Katie? Where can they find you? I know you are the one carrying the load when it comes to Twitter work and all that stuff, but where can everybody find you?
So you can find me on the Twitter at KGLStrap13. That's my personal account. You can find this podcast on Twitter as well. It's at Star Wars Alliance without the A in the wars. You can find my other podcast, Slice of Film, and I'm only plugging this one because Nathan's on it with me next week to cover Batman and Robin.
Dun, dun, dun. Pool party. Oh wait, you'll get there. I'll
get that eventually.
Everybody chill.
That podcast is at Slice of Film 1, and Nathan and I will cover that next week on Slice of Film, so you can check that out then.
It will be the end of the Burton Schumacher era for us.
Yes.
We went through the previous three, and this will be closing it out for us.
Yes, and then I gotta watch Batman versus Superman Ultimate Edition.
Dun, dun, dun.
Anyways, but that will be live next week, and then the next Star Wars Alliance episode we will be covering Mandalorian season 1. So start your rewatch now.
Oh.
Wow. But I think that's it, guys. Thanks for joining us. If you've been here live, we really appreciate it. If you're listening to us later, we also appreciate you very much.
Absolutely.
So whatever time of day you're watching, listening, I hope y'all have a great day. So we will see y'all next time, and may the force be with y'all.
Always.